The Nun 2 is a 2023 American Gothic supernatural horror film directed by Michael Chaves, with a screenplay written by Ian Goldberg, Richard Nying, and Akela Cooper from a story by Cooper. Serving as a sequel to The Nun and the 8th installment in the Conjuring Universe franchise, the film stars Tessa Farmiga, Jonas Bloquet, and Bonnie R. Rose, returning from the first film, with Storm Reid and Anna Popplewell joining the cast. Peter Safran and James Wan return as producers. In 1956, Father Norit and Jacques perform their daily chores in their church in Tarascon, France. While investigating a disturbance, Norit is raised into the air, set on fire, and burned to death before a terrified Jacques flees. Following the events at St. Cartha's Monastery, Sister Irene now serves in a convent in Italy. Maurice works at a boarding school in France, where he has befriended a young Irish student named Sophie and her teacher and mother, Kate. Irene has a vision of Maurice asking her to save him. She is dispatched by the Cardinal to investigate a series of deaths across Europe, attributed to the demon Valak. Due to her previous experience with the demon, she travels to Tarascon with Sister Deborah, a young novice who expresses her difficulty in accepting miracles, such as the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Meanwhile, a delivery girl witnesses Valak talking to a possessed Maurice before Valak kills her. In Tarascon, Irene is haunted by Valak and has a strange vision. Deborah tells Irene that she received Norit's rosary from Jacques. At school, Sophie is bullied by classmates and locked in the deconsecrated sealed-off chapel. The bully points out the goat on the stained glass window, claiming the devil appears when the sun shines through and turns the goat's eyes red. One night, the headmistress encounters a sleepwalking Maurice and is killed by Valak in the guise of her deceased son. Irene and Deborah travel to the Palais des Papes and meet with a librarian. He explains that Valak was an angel rejected by God and the emblem on Norit's rosary is the family crest of Saint Lucy, who was martyred by a pagan. Though she was set on fire, she miraculously did not burn, her eyes were gouged out, but her family recovered them. The librarian suggests the demon is killing Saint Lucy's descendants because it wants this powerful relic, last known to be stored in a former monastery turned winery. The winery then became the present-day boarding school. At the school, Irene and Deborah face off against a fully possessed Maurice. Sophie shows the women the stained glass goat in the chapel and they use a flashlight to make its eyes glow red. The red light acts as a laser, pointing to where the eyes of Saint Lucy are buried. Irene finds the relic and the stained glass goat vanishes, reappearing in real life as a demonic creature. As the goat attacks the students, Maurice attacks Irene, chases Sophie, and causes the bell tower to collapse. Deborah admits to Irene that she now has faith. Irene uses the relic against Maurice, but he grabs it, causing Valak to appear. Similar to Father Norit, Valak lifts Irene in the air and sets her ablaze. Irene surprisingly does not burn and subsequently realizes she is a descendant of Saint Lucy, able to harness the same power associated with the relic. Irene and Deborah pray the words of institution used in Christian celebrations of the Eucharist, and the old barrels of wine in the room become the blood of Christ from their belief. As the blood soaks Valak, the demon is damned back to hell. The next morning, Irene meets with Maurice, who is seemingly cured. However, she becomes concerned as she watches him leaving with Sophie and Kate. I cannot speak enough about how amazingly they expanded the Conjuring universe with this installment. The Nun 2 explores more deeply into the characters, Irene, Maurice and Nun itself and their stories. I definitely did not expect it to be this good being the sequel to The Nun, cause it was absolutely terrifying and one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and I thought they had given their all into that film and couldn't top it off, but with this edition they proved me wrong. The plot, storyline and the pace of movie was absolutely phenomenal and interesting, being related to the first movie, and you can feel the essence of the first one throughout with the flashbacks, and as the movie unravels, This chapter of Nun is also better in some parts compared to the first one. Definitely worth watching if you have been a Conjuring Universe fan. Might just be the best horror movie of the year so far. Thank you all.